You are listening to episode 97 of the Peaceful Mind podcast. Welcome to the Peaceful Mind podcast, a place for creating the peace of mind you need to be the best mom you are created by God to be. If you want to bring more balance, more joy, and more peace to your motherhood, this is the place for you. I'm your host, certified life coach and Catholic mom, Danielle Tienel. In the name of the Father, of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, let's get started. Here we are, back again. Thanks so much for joining me. Today's episode is the second in a series that follows episode number 96, which was the 5 ways of achieving balance. And now we're spending the next 5 weeks breaking that down and really diving deep into each one of them. Last week, we talked about elevating the relationship with yourself. And today we are talking about maximizing your role as mom, which is, notice that it's different from last week's. Even just noticing the difference of how I've named it is really important, and hopefully will open you up and have a different perspective, because there is you, and then, yes, it is separate from the role you have as mom. And I wanted to just give the definition. I even just Googled it real quick to say role. And of course, as you would expect, the word was character to define role. And I don't mean that you are playing the character of mom. You are a mother. But it's also separate from you as the person. Like if I'm talking about me as Danielle, and then there is my role as mom. And it's not the character, it's actually the part I am in the family. It's the capacity that I take on in my life. I take on the capacity of mother. It's my function, it's my position, it's my responsibility, it's the duty that I take on. So again, I just want you to see the difference in that it's not all wrapped up as one, the you and the mom. The mom part is your capacity. And for today's episode, I want you to maximize your capacity as mom, your role as mom, your function as mom. I want you to show up 10 times more effective than you currently are if you want to. If there are places, and we'll talk about that, of where you could even just get even more out of it to maximize this responsibility that we now have. I just want you to notice that I place the importance of elevating the relationship you have with yourself first and foremost, because this plays a part in you being able to maximize your role as a mom. Because if you don't elevate the relationship with yourself first, it's going to make this part harder. So if we have looked at you, like elevating you first, now we want to focus on balancing your mom life. And we do this by maximizing your mom role. And I first want to invite you to own your infinite worthiness. Let's just get this out of the way first, or at least just let me make this statement first for it to lay over you, to sink in over the next couple of days. And I don't have a lot to talk about it because it just is. And that is your infinite worthiness. Okay? There's all this talk about good mom, bad mom, and that just doesn't need to exist, especially if you're trying to maximize your role as mom. So I want to invite you to just decide, because, and you don't even have to decide, like I am like stating the facts here, which should bring you peace of mind which should just kind of fill you up with this sense of peace that you are infinitely worthy. Like you can't get any more worthy. You can't take any of your worthiness away simply because you exist. Let's just decide that you are a good mom and don't question it anymore. Imagine if that question didn't come up for you anymore. You would then be able to maximize what's going on in your life. Okay? So that's where I wanted to start. And this is often where I have to start with some moms, because this question of whether I'm worthy or not does come up a lot. The second thing to maximize your role as mom is to prioritize self-care for yourself. This matters. This matters so much. And I also want to dispute the idea that self-care is selfish. By definition, something selfish actually puts others in harm's way. So if you are doing something that is good for you and you want to be doing and makes you feel good, and then your brain comes in and tells you that it's kind of selfish that you're doing it, I want you to ask yourself, am I putting somebody in harm's way because of it? Is this harming someone because of what I'm doing? And that's just a simple way for you to be able to either quiet your brain or to take action on it, that maybe you answer the question that it is. But most likely, I want to tell you that prioritizing self-care along the way of taking care of what you need to take care of as a mom is going to fill you up and give you the energy you need and give you that extra love for you to be able to have something to give to your family and to give to others. Really, everything else that you want is based on this, knowing your infinite worthiness and then prioritizing self-care so that you yourself are in the best wellness level possible for you. And then it isn't exhausting, but it's easier for you to take care of your family. And when we prioritize self-care, it really does bring us self-confidence, right? And this helps us to feel better and to want to go after doing things, because that self-confidence comes when we are feeling better. Next, to maximize your role as mom, I want you to expand your emotional wellness. Emotional health, that's, a lot of people talk about the health that, well, we've all just really been, given a really big dose of it with the pandemic, of seeing how even when our physical health goes down, it definitely has all of us highlighting the importance of our emotional health as well. And so learning about your feelings. And then, like in my program, we really focus on what feelings are, where they come from, how they're created, about how feeling good is really the main focus for us moms in order to maximize our role, and that life is 50-50 and we will have negative feelings, and that's okay. And we don't want to avoid them or react or resist to them, but we want to become someone who learns how to process these emotions. And it really isn't as hard or difficult as it might sound if this is something that sounds foreign to you, right? To learn how to process and feel your emotions. It really is the key. And we dive deep into this in my coaching program. And it definitely opened up a world of control and steadiness for me, because I wasn't any longer at the effect of my feelings. And so now I place a very, very high priority on my emotional wellness. And we want to expand this so you can maximize your role as mom. Let's just be done with the wheel of exhaustion and to-do lists and to get up and to do it all over again. what I'm offering you today is to help you see that we want to have more peace and more joy and more balance in our life right now. We don't want to wait. We get this one life, and we'll talk more about that in next week's episode. But I just want you to start thinking about today, like what are your top 3 emotions? Is it overwhelm? Is it guilt and worry? Is it confusion? Is it doubt? Is it frustration? Okay, do you want these to be your top feelings? If not, we must expand our emotional wellness, and this will maximize your role as a mom. If you focus that joyful, peaceful, balanced, steady, in control, happy, content, encouraged, enthusiastic, excited, open, willing. I can just go on and on. Curious. Hello, that one. Clients who are already clients of mine know that this really is the magic one. Curiosity and courage, right? Yeah, to make some of these changes will take courage, but I promise you that it is much better than living in overwhelm, guilt, worry, confusion, and doubt. And then I also, in order to maximize our role as moms, we want to become more clear on where we are buffering in our life. And the word buffering, what I mean by that is when we are avoiding feeling those uncomfortable feelings by getting a quick dopamine hit with something else that may come from food, overeating, sugar, alcohol, drinking, right? Like if we're using them as escapes from feeling stressed and overwhelmed, we want to take a look at this because it's definitely doing the opposite. We're probably not showing up in the maximum capacity that we have or that we want to. And buffering is something that we definitely dive into with my clients as we coach on this a lot, and seeing that it is possible to stop and do those things in the right amount that helps you, but isn't, and for the right reasons, and not because you don't know how to handle negative emotion. Remember, we want to expand this ability to be able to feel uncomfortable and still go forward after our dreams. And lastly, I touched on this just a bit earlier, but to maximize your role as mom, I cannot express enough that we have to be purposeful and deliberate about enjoying this journey of motherhood. As I mentioned last week, that, actually my time when my children are at home with me is almost to an end. I mean, I have a couple more years with one child, but still, when I think about even just planning our family or thinking about being a mom, it does feel like they're going to be with us forever. And whatever stage you're going through, there is things about it that you can find joy in right now, even if it's new babies and up all night, or you navigating a disability with a child, or you've got a difficult teen. Maybe they're already out of the house too. Look, we never stop wanting to maximize our role as mom. And even when they're not all physically under our same roof, we are still mothering. We still have this role. And I just want to let you know that it's time, wherever you are in your motherhood and listening to this podcast, do not delay. Enjoy the journey now. Find what is great about it now, because there are things, and it is fleeting, and it will pass. And you will find that this is a game changer if you enjoy the journey, you will maximize your role as mom. Okay, let me just summarize what I said today for this one topic that makes up how we live that balanced life, how we achieve it, is we first own your infinite worthiness. No question anymore. God created you. You are a child of God. You exist. You are completely worthy. We want to prioritize self-care so that you can show up as your best self in your role as mom. It matters. It matters a lot. You also want to learn how to expand your emotional wellness. You want to keep top of mind what 3 feelings you want to feel most often in your life. Notice I didn't say all the time, but are you working towards that? Are you finding that you are making progress in maximizing your emotional wellness? If not, come to coaching. This is something that is a game changer. It's all a game changer if you ask my opinion on it, but the emotional wellness piece. Okay, that includes you feeling your feelings, not avoiding them. You process, you learn how to process them. I'm running a workshop within one of my groups this week on this exact topic. Okay, there are some buffering. There's some buffering going on out there, moms. I know that when we're stressed, we go to the cookies, right? Or we go to the online shopping. But we want to learn not to react this way. And there is another way. And it has to do with expanding your emotional wellness. And lastly, we want to learn how to enjoy the journey. If you can move and make some progress in these areas, you are going to show up as your role as mom way more effectively as you are right now. And this is what I want for you. This is the idea you had of how you would be as a mom when we, set out on this journey to be one. And so now that we're here, right, we have to navigate through all of these things that we didn't realize were going to be challenging and issues for us. And I hope that what I offered you here today gives you something to think about, and you can think about what's like one little change that you could start today that would just never question your worthiness again, that would prioritize your self-care, that would expand your emotional wellness. And from there, you'll start maximizing your role as mom. And again, like always, I want you to know that this is the work that we do inside my coaching program, and it is available to you. And I want you to maybe visit my page and see some of the testimonials of other moms just like you and what they say about the work that we do in here. And if you're curious at all, I invite you to sample it on my free peace strategy call and bring to me if one of these issues about questioning your worthiness, you're not prioritizing your self-care, you maybe have realized that you don't like the top 3 feelings that you're feeling most of the time and want to make changes towards that, or that you're not enjoying your motherhood, you bring that to me and we'll get immediate relief there. All right, everyone, this was number 2, and we have a few more to go. And again, I want to thank you for being here and welcome you to rate or review the podcast, and have a beautiful week. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of the Peaceful Mind Podcast. Are you ready to take everything I teach you here and put it to work for your own life? To really learn how to have peace of mind no matter what is happening around you? If so, I'd love to have you as a client. As your coach, this is where you'll get personal and focused time on your own mind using life coaching tools, concepts, and proven life-transforming wisdom, all through a faith-filled lens. To learn more about how we can work together, come on over to danielletienel.com. There, you'll see how to sign up for a free coaching consult and learn how to get started. Until next time, peace be with you always.